Now welcome to another edition of News from Naboo with Thor's Lightning Takes. And let's get right to the news.
Alright, I've got 3 stories for you today.
What? Like the count?
One normal type of story that we cover, one video game story, and one something else. Whatever, let's start with the regular story. So Adam Driver was on the Smartless podcast, and of course he was there to talk about Ferrari, which came out on Christmas Day.
Star Wars?
Yeah. Again. He got asked about Star Wars because he just interviewed a couple weeks ago or a week ago or something. We covered that. But they asked him about there being more Star Wars in his future. Adam said, "They're doing stuff, but not with me. I'm not doing it anymore." Then they asked him if this was due to his character
being dead,
his story being concluded. He said, yeah.
Funny how that works.
I mean,
technically he could be a Force ghost. He did disappear. So
yes, he did.
That's the universal sign of I'll be back.
So then we could, I wish I had an image of this. Rey, in the movie Ghost, behind her in the clay.
I get where you're going. Building her lightsaber instead of doing pottery.
That's even better.
Yeah.
If I knew how to do AI prompts really well, I could probably get that.
Yeah.
But I don't. Lucky for all of you.
Someone's going to do it for you. Just watch. It'll show up in your inbox.
I mean, it is worth noting that this is apparently a controversial tone podcast. I don't know how that...
What do you mean?
I don't know.
I've never heard of it.
I've never seen the Smartless podcast. Yeah. But, I mean, he said he's not doing it anymore, that there are no plans for him at the moment. But... Can you really ever...
Even if there was, no one's ever really gone?
No one's ever really gone.
Is that where we're going with it? Even if he was approached and said yes, he can't say that.
Right. Those NDAs and all.
Yes, those badass NDAs, as Katie Sackhoff once so eloquently put it.
Yes. What's funny is he did kind of talk a little bit about the fact that he was more of a Star Trek fan than a Star Wars fan. He said, I was a fan. My dad was more of a Star Trek fan than a Star Wars fan. But I did have a couple Star Wars toys that we got at a garage sale. But I was a fan of the movies. And then to be asked to do it I thought about it a lot because, again, I didn't want to be bad in it. He said, I got an offer, but there was no script to read, which I had never done before, so you had to commit to it. J.J. Abrams walked me through the whole thing, but there was no script. You could actually see how it played out.
He wasn't trusted with it.
How could he know how it was going to play out? Jay didn't even write all 3.
Nobody knew how it was going to play out. That's the secret, yeah.
I mean, we did cover when he said a month ago or something that there was no original plan for this Ben Solo redemption arc.
No,
he was going to be bad to the bone.
Yeah, darker as the trilogy went
Darker
on.
than Sith.
Whatever that means.
I was trying to make it darker than black.
Oh, yeah.
But
okay.
you wouldn't get it.
No, okay. I don't get it, but
I'm
sure someone gets it. But no, he had said he was going to go dark side and...
stay there.
Yeah, where he starts out kind of conflicted, he gets more dark side, whereas Vader started out dark side but gets conflicted. He was going opposite Vader.
Mm-hmm. He was opposite Vader. Oh, boy. Either way, we won't really know anything until we get trailers or the movie is actually out.
Yeah.
Honestly, it'll be the movie coming out that tells you.
I am going to assume at some point there will be some sort of Kylo Ren / Ben Solo thing in the new Rey movie, right?
They'll just...
Probably like Ghost, like you suggested.
They'll just make the, journey to the Rey movie...
Oh, God, please
stuff,
call it that,
and there'll be tons of, Ben Solo Force Ghost action, and he just won't be in the movie.
He'll be like Constable Zuvio, who got action figures, and then...
Gosh, I hate that action figure so much. Yeah. With every fiber of my being, I hate that action figure.
I think you can still find it in some stores for clearance.
He was in a 10th of a second. It's like a blink and you'll miss him.
I think he was actually in the movie somewhere, yes, but didn't justify the action figure release. All
right, let's move on to our video game news. We got some Star Wars Outlaws news. This information is going to come from Navid Kavari. He is the narrative director of the game, and he kind of talked about the exploration, the crime syndicates, some of that info, which is cool. We haven't really gotten much information on the game since SDCC, where they told us, hey, Jabba the Hutt's going to be in Outlaws, and that our main character, Kay, is going to go on missions for him and even betray him.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yes. And we did hear that, of course, it is going to be a large open world game, but it will be, and they put this in quotes, manageable, and will not be 200 to 300 long,
I'm out.
unfinishable
I'm
epic RPG.
That's it, I'm done.
Well, they want to have replayability because you can obviously change your choices, and I'm not sure how it'll. I mean, it's not going to be Baldur's Gate level.
Nothing is. That's why Baldur's Gate was Game of the Year.
And then some.
I'm obviously kidding. I'm going to be playing it, but
yes, I know.
I didn't expect it to be like 300 hours.
Mm-hmm. But in the latest interview, Navid was asked what the core gameplay loop is, and he responded by explaining 3 different types of experiences that players will have. They all have something to do with exploration. He said, the first of these is dense cities bustling with activity and lively cantinas where you might find criminal syndicates and corrupt Imperials mingling together. Second is our vast, mysterious, and stunning open environments, whether on foot or Kay's speeder. And finally, space, which players can explore on Kay's ship. Yeah, you can just fly around, I guess.
Anywhere in space?
Hopefully. That'd be really cool.
That would be pretty amazing. But, I'm sure there's a set number of systems you can go to.
Yeah, I mean, the goal of the game, when they were developing it, of course, is to provide, they wanted the seamless experience from vehicle to vehicle. They said it's, allowing fans to play like an intergalactic tourist in a way, so they can travel around iconic planets. He said one of the core parts of the scoundrel fantasy is having your own ship, and that essentially being your home. Outlaws are traveling constantly and need to be on the move all the time. That's no different for Kay. You'll be able to go from on foot to speeder to your ship and easily jump between planets. Space represents a super lucrative yet very risky experience for any outlaw. If you go off the beaten path, your willingness to explore will bring surprises as well. So you can go from taking on a contract to steal an Imperial shipment, but then get distracted on your speeder and head off to the Tassara Savannah in search of an artifact, and the game will reward your curiosity.
This will be your kind of game because you get so distracted.
I'm an explorer.
So distracted. Yes,
that's why we're still working on Baldur's Gate.
Yeah, you are a quote-unquote explorer. As in cover every inch of the map before moving forward. Yeah,
when you get to Part 2, Act 2 of Baldur's Gate, and you're rolling around with 50k.
Because you've picked up everything?
Because I picked up everything, I've sold everything,
Yeah. I don't even know how the merchants had this much money. You had to come back every morning and they somehow scrounged up more money to buy your crap.
I was at my camp, and now I'm going to go visit the merchants. Hey guys, you got some cash?
You got money? Because I got more junk.
Well, they also talked more about the groups and organizations, and you'll kind of be able to forge personal relationships that will fluctuate depending on your choices.
Okay.
Players can use quests with each of the syndicates to manage Kay's reputation, which will impact the jobs they offer and the impact they'll have throughout the story. Each player will have a different profile with each of the syndicates based on how you've interacted with them over the course of her journey.
Very cool.
I wonder if other syndicates could put out bounties on you if you take them off. If you
interesting.
Yeah, it could be. There could be a lot of really interesting niche things with the syndicates. Yeah. Are you really going to try and take on jobs from 2 syndicates who don't like each other, or do you have to pick a side? Will being in the middle cause you trouble?
I think it will.
I like that. And then lastly, they talked about how the game's setting kind of affects the story that Massive here is trying to tell. I mean, the game is set in the year between Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi.
Small window, yeah.
He says the rebels are on the back foot, and while everyone is caught up and somewhat distracted by the ongoing civil unrest, there's a vacuum that creates the perfect opportunity for the underworld to rise and gain power out of sight of the Imperial rule.
I wonder if this, and probably not, but the War of the Bounty Hunters and some of the stuff Marvel has recently done with the crime syndicates and stuff.
Will this be really cool?
Be referenced or just no?
I would really appreciate a couple of nods.
Be cool. I'm not expecting
maybe she's taking on some of these jobs because the bounty hunters are doing something else.
Could be. I mean, there's opportunity, and granted, I don't know how the game exactly is going to be, but there certainly would seem to be opportunities to tie it into what the comics did.
Well, and you even see Han, Frozen, and Carbonite in the trailer, right?
I believe you do, which is a big part of
the War of the Bounty Hunters.
That's basically trying to bid for Han Solo, which is different than what happens in Shadow of the Empire. But let's not worry about that.
Yeah, I mean, there's new reports now from Ubisoft that say that Star Wars Outlaws has been pushed to later 2024. It was originally, I think, supposed to be early, but I mean, we won't know for sure until we finally get an announcement.
It'll be 2025. We know how these games never hit their release windows. They never
don't talk about Star Wars Eclipse that way, or KOTOR.
KOTOR. Some don't ever come out. Yeah.
Some never come out.
Yeah. I'll be pleasantly surprised if it is sometime late 2024. I'll be fine with that.
All right, now let's move on to our weirdish story. Lucasfilm is suing a place that does car washes in Chile. It is a Star Wars themed car wash called Star Wash. Yeah.
Okay.
And they are getting sued for plagiarizing because Star Wash, of course, sounds similar-ish to Star Wars. And the videos that Star Wash has shared on social media to kind of get some publicity for their business shows people who work there, the attendants, dressed as things like Chewbacca, and Stormtroopers, Boba
Coincidence.
Fett.
It's just coincidence.
Mando,
It's coincidence.
Kylo Ren,
It's still a coincidence.
Darth Vader, even appearing to use the Force to summon cleaning cloths. The owner, the law firm representing the car wash, received the letter, of course, from Lucasfilm while they were trying to register their brand with the Chilean Patent Authority. Of course, the lawyers behind the car wash are saying that, well, it's not really anything. You're not going to confuse this with Star Wars. Of course you won't. The name is sufficiently different, and they aren't, like, selling toys or furniture, and that these copyrights apparently don't extend to cleaning cars.
Okay.
I don't know if I'm on his side or not. I feel like...
I'd have to see the car place first.
I mean, if we had a place near us that was called Star Wash, we'd have to go there at least once because you like Star Wars, which is kind of directly profiteering off of the Star Wars icon. If it was called Star Wash and had just people dressed up as aliens and spacemen, no problem.
Yeah.
But the fact that you call it Star Wash, written in like Star Wars type font.
Yeah.
And
it's dressing the characters up. I think that really goes over the edge, though. As I see the picture of Mando and the R2 vacuum droid.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
That is totally not Grogu either.
No,
these are just totally cool. They've probably never seen Star Wars.
The whole thing is clearly a coincidence.
Yes.
Clearly not. So I have the video playing for now. I'm like,
we're not watching.
Yeah. Doesn't look like Mando or anything.
We don't know. I mean, we never
anyone.
really. Yeah, the Mandalorian could be anybody. That's what I learned in season 3. So this isn't plagiarism or any copyright infringement.
Jarrin, that's car washing.
Car jarrin.
Car jarrin.
Yeah, and Grogu and Carbaka.
Everything's car.
Yeah, I don't
know. What about Truck Vader?
That sounds like a Transformer.
I know, it does. All right, that's gonna be.
That's where we wrap it up.
We're cutting this train down.
That's all we got for you this time. Now it is your turn to take to the comments below and tell us what you think of any and all of today's news, and let's talk some Star Wars. And until next time, thanks for watching.